Hello, everybody. It's Holly from Besotted Orchids. Thank you for joining me in my library. No, that is not why we're here, but I do. It just happens to be a good location for filming, for lighting. This is what I want to show you today. Look at my samurai warrior. Now, this one goes by the name Samurai Warrior or Butterfly Orchid. I really think if you look with your imagination, you can see a samurai. His arms, his little skirt, his breastplate, his little head, and the swords going up. Absolutely adore this orchid. Now, its real name is Psychopsis mendenhall. So it's a Psychopsis mendenhall. But behind the samurai, we have something special. We have something I haven't seen on anybody else's, and it could be around. I just haven't seen the video yet. This one, I'm going to turn it around totally so you can see. There, that works very well. On here, this one, I have put a video up in the past, not too long ago, where I discussed that it was bud blasting repeatedly. They'd last a week, they'd blast, a week, they'd blast. Nothing was coming to fruition until, oh, that's really falling, until this one. So this is number 8. It took 8 tries to bloom for the very first time, mind you. It's never bloomed before. And a wonderful viewer said, water it more. So I am. I did give it a little extra dose of water. And one evening I was sitting out here reading and looking at it, and I saw a spider come right out of the node area. So, I don't know, a little of both probably. Maybe the spider was chewing away, I don't know. But the spider died. I have a butterfly bloom now. But I think due to that, the 8 fails of this orchid trying to bloom, this one came off a secondary node right behind. I think it wanted to bloom so badly that it said, hey, this one is invalid. We're done. We're not worrying about this anymore. And the plant said, send another one out. So very ingenious, very smart. I think it works really well. Good thinking. So one thing with this is a large, I mean, look at this. This is large. This, when the sepals stand fully up, the little swords, the antennae, whatever you want to call them, this will be 7 inches tall. This one's going to bloom. They're going to be back to back, basically. So this one is going to, they're going to impede with each other. They're going to encroach on each other's territory for a while. But I'm not concerned with that because in future blooms, this is going to keep extending like my Solangenae udasana did because this is a sequential bloomer. It blooms, another one comes right behind. If you look here, you can see the next bud forming. And the same over here, there's a bud, trust me, there's another bud. His is more up the top, getting ready to open. So these will fall off. Another one comes on. So I'm thinking this can bloom for 10 plus years from what I've been reading, if you take good care of it. And I have read, if something happens, a dog knocks it over, something happens, breaks, it will do what it did here, and it will form another side, a little branching. So I am really, really pleased with this. I bought this 2 years ago in September, so close to my birthday time, so into September 2 years ago from eBay. It has, my ceilings are really high, so I can do this. I have an old farmhouse. Okay, I'm going to pull this up. I just don't want to hit, see, it would be hitting normally. This has, I'm dripping water everywhere. 1, 2, 3, 4 growths, and a brand new one coming in the middle. That's, I don't know if you can see, it's about 5 inches tall. It's a nice one already. So 2 of these I have grown on my own watch. 2 of them were here. I had to wipe the water off, sorry. Everything in my home is an antique. Well, not everything, but I don't want water stains on it. So let's grow orchids in the home. That sounds like a great idea. So anyhow, I think 10 years, I'm going to be looking at blooms. So it's hard to think of age when I'm like, wow, I'm going to be fairly old. This is still going to be blooming. So, you know, you wonder, because I am that orchid grower who loves the adventure of watching it grow. I like to watch it grow. I like to see the transformation. I like to take it from baby to bloom, although I do buy a lot that are already blooming size because I am impatient. But there is such a thing as just the actual pride of watching it grow and seeing it. And it seems like from here on out, I'm always going to be looking at a bloom. Because this one, even if it's a 3-week delay between blooms opening, this one here is going to be running a week and a half behind. So I'm hoping the timing is such that it overlaps. I'm thinking it might overlap, and then I'm never going to be without a butterfly picture. You're like, oh, there it is again. There it is again. It's always there. So I hope I never lose my appreciation for this, because come on. This is so stunning. I am so proud of myself for growing this. And if you grow the psychopsis, I'd like to know how your results have been, what have gone on with it for you, successes, failures, everything. It's just fascinating. And it is standing approximately 2.5 feet in the air, this spike. It's a very, very tall spike. And it just grows in a terracotta pot in my east-facing window. I do put it in the east-facing window because I just think it needs a little bit more sun, Oncidium type light. So here it is. I'm going to set it somewhere where you can view it while I show you. It's going to take up the entire. There's nowhere to put you, so you're not being a pest. You know what? I'm going to set it right back here because I have a couple more orchids I want to share with you. I don't know. He's back there. Trust me. He's here. There we go. Now, you rarely ever see cattleyas on this channel. And because I don't have a lot of south-facing windows, I don't have a lot of west-facing windows that I want to. One's my son's bedroom window. He doesn't want orchids in his window. One's the end of the living room, and the dogs are always there. So, the west-facing windows just are not appropriate for me to put anything in. And my south-facing window is upstairs. So sometimes my Sherry baby does live up there, but I'm not going to take all my cattleyas up there because it's a lot of watering. So we have Burana Beauty. It is Potinara, Burana Beauty, Burana. So times by itself. They've bred it back to itself. Do you see the two buds? And this is struggling a tad bit. It didn't like the last culture it was in. It didn't like, I think it was in a plastic pot. It just wasn't happy. Everything I've moved into terracotta, and yes, it does need a few air holes drilled into it. Every time I've moved something into terracotta, it's just done phenomenally well. I can see a difference. And this I just moved over maybe a month ago. So, the good things about the Potinara Burana Beauty, small. It doesn't take up a lot of room. It's very, very nice. Problems. Ronald McDonald. It looks like McDonald's. It's pure, it's circus-like. It's so garish. It's yellow and red. And if you like bold colors, you're going to love this orchid. If you like a fragrance that smells like a rose, the most beautiful rose you've ever smelled in your life, you want this orchid. I don't think I've ever had another cattleya or any type of an orchid. Typically your cats are going to smell like roses and your epicattleyas. I have never found any that have such an intense fragrance as right here. This is it. It smells amazing. So we're going to set this one to the side. And it just grows in bark. And once again, east-facing. I feel like I redundantly say this. My orchids grow in east-facing windows. That's it. So if you're wondering where my orchids grow, east-facing windows in Ohio. Down in the valley. So we don't have a lot of trees yet that are very tall. We've been planting. So it's full sun. They're getting, there's nothing to break the sun in the morning for them. And I think they love it. Especially my brassias. Do you see that? That is a spike. That has 11 or 12 potential blooms on it. And this is Pinot Princess because it's going to be a deep wine color. It came from Triton Orchids, one of my purchases this year. Because my son likes the spiders, and I like the spidery ones. I like things that are a little different, i.e. psychopsis. So it's going to be the funnest spider. I have lots of yellows. You've seen all my yellows. In fact, you're going to see one here in a minute. I have so many of the yellow. In fact, that's probably the only other type that I have. are the yellow ones. But I want to show you, not only is it spiking, it has a new growth coming. So I'm very pleased. Nice, healthy growth. And this is a pot that came from Lowe's. It's just a Lowe's pot. I think $3.99. The one pots I get are running $2.99, and they're basically the same pot. I promise I'm going to bring the pot up to show you sometime. Shorter, about 2 inches shorter, and no holes come in it though. I buy that at a greenhouse, and I love them. And I'm only paying $2.99 a piece. But I have to put the ceramic, I have to put the diamond bit on the drill, and I have to drill them. So, excuse me, I'm suffering allergies today. I've been hiking. I have been missing in action on my channel because I've been in the Mohican Forest. I've been every single group hike that heads out. I'm there. I think last week we went Friday morning on a coffee hike with the naturalists. Nobody else went because me and Lily and Kyle trotting around. So we went back to the suspension bridge with our coffee and a new trail I had never been yet, back to that direction. And then that night, a ladies group was going through Malabar. So off again, 3-mile hike we got invited on. So we went on that. And then the very next morning, the Mohican expert hikers went out. So we went through the prairie. I think I put a video up of the prairie. It was just so beautiful. Oh my goodness. So we did travel the prairie, and we went back to the local waterfall. So we're doing hiking. And I'm glad we're going to have a cold front drop from 90 to 70. So we're going to get some good rain today around 3. So we need it. We need to drop. Enough about the weather. I am holding in my hand a brassia. And of course, there's no tag. One thing, if you're new to my channel, and if you are, I want to thank you. I've been seeing new subscribers. So hello, it's so nice to meet you. Thank you for joining my channel. So exciting to see new subscribers. And if you have any questions, any comments, feel free to ask a question. There's no stupid question. There's no question that it's going to be something I'm not going to be able to answer. I'll just tell you that much. But if you have a question about anything, I mean, oh my goodness, if you're just starting out, I have so many questions about my orchids. And how I learned was through mainly orchid videos. I'm going to tell you the truth. And now I'm giving orchid talks because I binge watched hundreds and hundreds of videos. And of course, I raised my own orchids for 3 years now. So, yeah, I'm a COVID newbie too. It's when a lot of people became really fascinated with orchids. So I'd also like to hear how many orchids you have. What kind of conditions you're growing them in. I mean, I think every little bit of information somebody gives to somebody else, it might not help me. It might help another viewer. It might not, my things might not help you, but they might help the next person. So you never know when you're going to give a little tidbit of information that's actually going to help somebody on their orchid journey. So here we go. This one here. And tagless, of course, because if you watch my channel, you know I have ADHD. If you haven't figured that out, I have ADHD. And I lose my tags. I honestly feel like maybe some little elf comes around at night and roofs tags because seriously, who loses this many tags? So I've learned to memorize a lot of the names. But this one I don't think came with a name. I'm going to say in my defense, I believe this one came from Groovy Plants Ranch and it did not have an ID. So I don't know. It's obviously a brassia. It's going to look like a spider and it will be yellow with spots, which actually makes me think it's probably not. It's not from Groovy Plants Ranch because that was yellow. It really didn't have any spotting on it. And if you look very closely, you can see it. So this pseudobulb, 1 spike. This pseudobulb, 1 spike. So I have an orchid talk coming up in October, mid to late October, at a library for a plant group. And I'm thinking this is going to be prime time. This will be in bloom. My brassia should be in bloom. I'm not sure about cattleyas. When you have something like that coming up, you frantically run around your orchids and go, okay, who's going to be in bloom? Which one is going to be in bloom? So I will have twinkles. And I do want to discuss that with you. I've been telling you for a very long time now, a month and a half, that I have ordered, supposedly, Holly's ordered orchids from Ecuador. Has she? We haven't seen them. We have no idea. Has Holly really ordered these? Yes, I did. We called Ecuador and I said, listen, I wanted to do an unboxing like 3 weeks ago. Where are my orchids? And they said hadn't even been shipped yet. They've not even been shipped. So I don't know that they're in Ecuador. I don't know if they're in their Florida location from Ecuador or if they've been shipped up, if they're on the way yet. They said it was too hot. But I don't understand because I would assume that Ecuador is kind of a constant temperature. I don't know. But I think it probably doesn't vary a whole lot at Ecuador. They more have rainy seasons versus dry seasons. My brother lives in Cambodia. So, he talks rainy season, dry season. So I don't know. But anyhow, they have assured me they will be here mid-September. So I'm hoping next week. But one of them, what got me on this tangent was the twinkle. I was discussing my twinkle in bloom. One of the orchids coming in is Soto Annum, which I've been looking for a very long time for my Soto Annum orchid. It's the parent plant. And I don't know if you follow, I'm sure you follow lots of other orchid growers. Matthew in Melbourne, hello plant lovers. Excuse me. He has a beautiful, beautiful Soto Annum. And I got to thinking, of course I need it because it's beautiful, but I need it because I have Chiraphorum, which is an itty bitty. That's where the twinkle size comes from. That's one of the parents is Chiraphorum, and it is tiny. And it's got lots of growth, so that's just what it is. In fact, it should be blooming maybe for my plant show. It would be amazing if during my plant talk I had Soto Annum in bloom, a twinkle, and Chiraphorum to see the whole plant progression. I think that would be amazing for people to see. So, yeah, I'm hoping that they get here and we do an unboxing because I have another orchid as well. I have some sort of oncidium species as well. If you order from them, mainly you're going to get species, although they do have some hybrids. It long spikes in mini. Yes, they are mini. Very tiny little yellow flowers will be on that orchid. And in the oncidium family, both of them. Because when I called Ecuador looking for my orchids, they said, did you have the two oncidiums? Yes, I did. So I want them. I'd love to have them delivered shortly because I just want to have that. Here's the whole family. So I am going to show you this one more time. Whoa! Before I get off, we have to do homeschooling. We started homeschooling yesterday. So probably should be doing it. He's upstairs studying Mike deGrasse Tyson. So he is studying. He's busy. Right there. The reason for the video. Oh, and I did want to tell you this. That reminds me, the reason. I've researched this, and the orchid mania that came about during the 18th century, Victorian England. I mean, everybody with these massive greenhouses, the rich people sending people out to hunt for their orchids because they had to have them. They believe this is what spurred that movement to happen. This one here. And you can well imagine, you can well believe it. Who wouldn't want this growing in their conservatory? Who wouldn't want to have this? So I think it's amazing. It has a nice little story behind it, other than the orchid mania that did destroy it. And it killed people. They were killing people. Are we allowed to say that on YouTube? I think we have to say unalive. They were unaliving people all over for orchids in burning down rainforests and jungles and cloud forests, whatever they could burn. So the next hunter came along, didn't have what they had. It was really an atrocious practice. So that's another reason I like to order from Ecuador. They are repopulating Ecuador with these orchids. It's part of their mission. So I can't gripe too much about having a two-month wait. Wow. I wonder how long they've been somewhere. I mean, have they really shifted their... Have they been lost? I don't know. But I'm assuming they'll be here within the week, and hopefully the temperatures cool down out of my mailbox. I don't want them to roast in there. So I want to thank you for watching, listening to my ramblings. I am on cold medication, so I'm probably all over the place with my allergies. Allergy meds. So I hope you guys are enjoying your day. And once again, thank you to all new members. It's so nice to have subscribers on there. It's just wonderful to see all the new. There's somebody new, and the name really, really stuck out with me. Stuck out enough that I remembered it. Something earthworm. So welcome. Inverted earthworms. I'm sorry if I'm messing up your name, but it is a cool little name. So welcome to the channel. Please like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment. If you have any questions about things I haven't covered on this psychopsis, who, let's face it, you're going to be bored with him if it's 10 years, constant bloom. You guys are going to be sick of looking at him. So thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and above all, enjoy those orchids.